Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. My name is Khalid Smith, founder of the Greenhouse Foundation and director of Greenhouse Business Development. If you are a small business owner and looking to scale and grow your business, then you are in the right place. So I'm gonna share my screen. The session will be recorded. There is a Q&A right at the bottom. If you have a question, please post it. I will stop every now and then just to go through the questions, and I will give you some time at the very end to ask any questions that you may have. So please write them down or put them into the chat as we go through. So we are going to be introducing you to the Myhouse Business Development Framework. And what that is, it's a business development tool that you're going to use to understand your business, right? And also understand how that business is going to grow from one level to the next. It is not a tool that you're going to use once off. You're going to be using it continuously within your business as your business grows, because businesses never stops growing. You're moving from one level to the next. And what this does, it actually not only gives you the tool to develop it, it helps you plan, track, and strategize that growth over time. It also identifies your specific needs and the various services and offerings that you can offer your industry. And lastly, and most importantly for us as business mentors, is to be able to share where you are within your business in a language that is standardized, that we can understand. So if we are assisting with regard to finance, and it's a finance specialist, or it's a marketing specialist, or it's a business coach, or it's an executive coach, then we can understand where you are within your business. It's also very important for program managers. There's a lot of incubators and accelerators and programs currently running within South Africa. In fact, more than 120 fully funded incubators for businesses. And that is because when you look at where we are in our country, a very, very high unemployment rate. So there's a lot of support for businesses. But as a program manager that is managing programs, they want to make sure that the program, which is very structured, is something which is actually going to impact your business. And having a very clear understanding of what your needs are, where it is you are in your business, and what it is that you need, that is extremely helpful. And that is what the Myhouse Framework does. It allows you to be able to do that. So firstly, it defines the current structures within your business and identifies tactics on how those things would change over time. And we understand that when we start our businesses, initially it's just us, and you've perfected that model to make that beautiful cake. You perfected the recipe, everyone loves it. But the challenge comes a little bit later when you realize, great, I now need to make 10,000 cakes, and you don't have enough capacity. You need staff, and you need some structure there to be able to multiply what it is that you do. And that is where that challenge comes in, because there's a lot of risk involved when you're moving from one level to the next, and understanding what needs to change, what structures that you need to improve on. Looking at your existing and potential structures, that is very, very important. So if you look at it, what the Myhouse framework does, it actually bridges that gap. And that is where we're going to be focusing. We're going to be spending a bit of time today so that you can understand that a little bit better. And we hope that we are able to, at least in this session, ask a lot of questions, and we want you to be able to ask that questions with regard to your business. So we understand that you are all on different levels within your business, and we're going to run a short poll shortly after the session. We want to understand the level that you are. What is important for us is when you're moving from one level to the next, what we're saying is that there's very different support that you would need. There's very different strategies moving from a startup to a micro enterprise, and from a micro enterprise to a small business. So the first thing, yes, is to assess where you're at, and then to identify the type of strategy that you would need to move your organization to the next level. The thing is, it's like you playing soccer, and as your business increase, other organizations are playing rugby. It is a totally different game. It is a different game with different rules and very different support that you're going to need. So understanding that is very, very important. Also, as your business grows, as you expand your business, it becomes much more complex. And that is why understanding this model when you small and medium, it makes it a lot easier when your business is now very big and you have thousands of staff and very solid structures that you now need to manage. When you understand this, when you're small, it makes it a lot easier when you are big. Also, as a small medium enterprise, your major advantage over a bigger large corporate company is your ability to pivot and change, right? And that is important, because when you look at where we are right now in our country, we're in a little bit of a recession. Yes, we're in a recession. So and what that means is that businesses might need to pivot, might need to change, might need to diversify, try new things. And as a micro enterprise and a small enterprise, medium enterprise, we are able to do that far quicker than a big company, right? And that is a huge advantage for us. But understanding what needs to change, that is very important. So having this framework in place allows you to change very, very quickly over time. And I need to be clear. I'm not saying that it's easy to put these processes in place and structures and to actually go and do the work. But once you understand it, like anything, like driving, initially it's a lot to think about, but as you use it, it becomes a lot easier over time. Okay. And then you look at the whole purpose is develop that plan, right? Tactics, clear structure that you're able to measure over time. And this is what we do in sessions that we have with businesses. We try and identify, great, this is where you are, here's potential structures that we could change and improve. And this is a constant process of change within a business. So hopefully this is something that you've done. Either you've been operating for maybe many years, but understanding the process, and that this process is changing all the time. You're learning from the process as we go along. I would, however, like to understand from the participants that are here. I see quite a few has joined us. I would like to run a very short poll. The poll is just to understand your industries, because I would really like to give you examples relating to your specific businesses and industries that you're in. So if we can very quickly, those of you that's just joined us, you don't have to worry. The session is recorded. We will share it with you a little bit later. I would like to run a very short poll. Just all I want you to do is, I'm only going to give you 2 minutes. That should be more than sufficient time, just to be able to share the industries that you are in. You can select more than one option, but ideally, if you're in construction, you're in construction. If you're in agriculture, you are in agriculture. right? So I'm going to launch the industry. I'm going to launch it right now. I'm only going to give you 1 to 2 minutes very quickly. I'm launching it right now. Okay. If you guys can please assist me in participating, your industries that you are in, and I know that there's maybe not all the industries there, then you just leave it blank. But if you know the industry, you're very clear the industries that you are in, select your core industry. Please, I see that there's quite a lot in manufacturing. I just heard the news yesterday. I was reading the Cape Times. A lot of the job losses is in the manufacturing sector, and that's where a lot of diversification is actually required in the manufacturing sector. I think it's over 100,000 jobs, which is quite crazy. I see there's a lot in manufacturing. Some is in media, a lot in ICT as well, healthcare. Construction, always a lot in construction. Okay. I don't see any in agriculture. That's crazy, right? Not a lot in agriculture, energy, finance, quite a bit. I definitely think 25 manufacturing is definitely the leading. Oh, construction has just taken over 31%. Excellent. That's excellent. Great. That's very helpful. That's very helpful. I'm going to give you another half a minute for those of you that is not sure which industry you're in. That's still trying to fit in. Hopefully, a lot of you is already running your businesses. You know where you fit in. But if you're not, that's fine. We're going to help you understand your businesses a little bit better. Okay, so a lot in manufacturing and definitely a lot in construction. I'm glad to see that there's a lot in healthcare and hospitality as well. If you look at the Western Cape, it's a growing industry. If you look at new airports in the Western Cape, right? And the amount of money that's going into infrastructure around, the tourism industry and sector, those are growing. Growing sectors, even in a recession where we are right now. I'm ending the poll. Thank you very much for your feedback. We are carrying on. Excellent. So this is where we are. We gotta do plans, right? And the reason why we put it in a plan, I know that as your business moves, as your business grows, a lot of your business is in your head, right? And this is what happens with most owners. You have your business in your head, right? But putting it down on a piece of paper, right, within a plan allows not only you, but the people around you, right, to be able to identify and make sure they understand the plan, that it's able to be measured, able to be tracked, and you're able to analyze it, which is very, very important as a business owner. You want to make sure that you are moving in all the areas within your business and you're giving yourself a little bit of a roadmap, right? Which you're going to follow with clear milestones in all the areas within your business. And this is what the framework does. And once you understand this, if you're a business owner or business development manager, this is your job. This is your job as a business owner, as a business development manager, is to plan your growth, And this is a tool that you're going to use in your business. So if you look at the Myhouse models, don't stress when you see all the information. I'm not going to go through all of this. The reason why I'm showing you this, right, is to understand, right, that your business consists of quite a lot of structure. And when you go through the model, initially it takes a little bit of time, but you effectively going to break down your business into little blocks, little pieces that you can measure and track. And that is what we want. We want to take that what is in your mind, and we want to break it down into little pieces that we can track and measure and analyze. And that takes a bit of time. If you have not done something like this before, we work with businesses that go through this process. It is something we do over and over, right? And we have to go through it a few times because you forget the very things that separate your business from others. Remember, we have unique businesses. So if you have the recipe, you have that secret ingredients that you've added when you were small. It's important to understand what that secret ingredient is that you've put in that cake that makes it so amazing. You need to understand what those ingredients is. Very, very clearly, because now you need to be able to multiply what it is that you're doing. So you're going to break it down, and then you're going to look at each one of them. Great. How can I bring in new supplies? How can I bring in new clients? How can I build new income streams? And as you grow, when you're starting, it's fine to have one major client and you can register with government and get all your work from the city of Cape Town. That is fine. You're starting out. That's not a problem. But once your business you're now medium and large and you're a big business and you have expenses and you have 50 staff to pay and you have your premises to pay, and all of these expenses needs to be covered, you need to distribute your risk. So you need to have multiple streams of income, right, that is coming in. And if you look at a medium to large company, at least 10 streams of income. That's different ways. So if you look at the whole of government, that is one income stream. At least 10 streams of income needs to be built within your business to lower your risk as you expand. Not only that, your teams around you, your roles need to be clarified, your compliance need to be sorted out. If you're in construction, yes, there's a lot of you that is in construction. You need to specialize. Having general business certification on CIDB is great. But if you look at how corporate companies are spending money, City of Cape Town, national government, they want specialists, which means having a general GB compliance certificate on CIPC is not enough anymore. There's certain times when they want a specialist, when you now need to put in a water system, right, for fire. They cannot risk it because lives are at stake, which means they want special compliance. If you hear the word ISO, they require ISO. When you look at a lot of organizations that is international, they require ISO certifications. These are the things that you require. If you're training QCTO requirements that they now require, a lot of organizations is insisting on this now, right? Which means that you need to look at your industry, how things are changing, right? And it is changing so quickly, right? You don't want to be in your industry and you realize you're struggling to actually get traction and movement, and other organizations are moving ahead because they have all the compliance. It's what your industry is changing, and you need to keep an eye on it. If you look at your market research, right, you need to understand how AI is actually implemented, how it's changing all industries, how it's impacting. And if you're not going to pay attention to these things, your business is going to struggle. And this is what we find, right? We've worked with companies in turnaround, right, for more than 12 years, companies in financial distress, big companies that's operating for 30 years. They're operating for 30 years, right, in the industry. And now all of a sudden they're putting staff off because they weren't aware of how the industry has changed, how the market has changed, how their clients has changed all the time. So you need to keep your feet on the ground, and all of these areas, you need to be growing in all these areas within your business. And once you understand it, you can scale. And when we go through this, all of this will be shared in an Excel document, right? We keep it easy. Everyone understands Excel. We give you the Excel document. You're going to gather your information. Once we have the information, we're going to analyze where we at. And very quickly we look at it. You can see there's a big gap over here. Here's a big gap over here, right? And when we run a turnaround with companies, it's clear. You know what? You're operating for 30 years. You got 2 contracts from Sony. You got a big contract from DSTV. You had it for 20 years. So we fine. We carry on with operations. We don't have issues. We don't need to do marketing. And now all of a sudden, those contracts is gone. And now you don't really have a detailed marketing strategy, right? And there your company goes. There your company's gone, right? Even though you established, right? So there's risks involved. So all of these things is there so you can pay attention to all of them as your business grows, right? And once you've done that, all of these areas, you're going to look at it. You're going to look at your current position. You're going to identify, you know what? I can build 2 or 3 more streams over there. I can improve these processes over there. I can automate. I can use AI over there, right? These are the things how I can improve my organization. You're going to put it into a plan that you can measure, right? And once it's done, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it. As business consultants, we don't know everything, right? Some think they do, right? But we don't know everything. You know your business, right? We can advise on industry, what is happening in industry. We can advise and say, you know what, these are companies. This is where you are. You're a small business. These are 10 other businesses. They're already big. They established a medium to large companies. These are things they did, right? It's not to say those things are going to work in your organization, which means you as a business owner need to understand your business. You need to be able to go and test it for yourself. You ultimately the one that's going to be making those decisions. So we want you to understand the model. We want you to understand your business very, very well. You're going to test it, right? Each of those that we just covered up earlier. I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to go back quickly. Let's see where that is. One more. There we go. All of these different areas and structures, you're going to break each one of them down and look how you can improve them. And once you've done that, you test and you go back again, because as your business now moves, this is to get you to that next level. So great. If you're now small, micro, and now you get into, and now you're medium, great. What happens is you start all over again. I'm sorry. This is unfortunate. This is a little bit of work, right? Now you start all over again. You're now not a medium company. You're now moving into a larger company. So everything changes again. You have to review everything again. This is how it works, right? This is how you grow exponentially over time, right? And you need to be able to grow exponentially, right? In all the areas, right? And you also need to grow proportionately. What that means is you cannot decide you're growing this. And I'm looking here, I'm looking outside my window, right? One of our massive trees, now the other day when it was a crazy storm, one of our massive trees just fell down right over our fence, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, it's a massive tree. And it looked quite healthy. It was green, right? And it just toppled over. The whole tree just toppled over. And this is what happens in a business, right? The roots wasn't strong enough to anchor it. So as your business grows, you're gonna focus on the areas that's bringing in immediate income. If this is client, here's a client where I got this contract now. We need to produce 20,000 units. This is where we're gonna focus. We're gonna build now, and we're gonna build this arm. This is what happens. We're gonna build this arm. And it's got lots of leaves on it and lots of flowers, looks beautiful, but it cannot support its own weight. So what happens? The leaf breaks, Your roots is not strong enough, right? Your trunk is not strong enough, bringing nutrients, and it's not getting to certain parts of your business because the trunk is not solid enough. And this is the challenges that we see in business every single day. Companies that are going down. I mean, I was like, why? How is this possible? So you need to understand as you grow, you're growing holistically, right? You're growing proportionately. You're making sure your roots are there because what's going to happen? Like the tree at the back in my yard, a little wind comes, little wind, right? And there it goes. Your business is gone. It was just blow over. It was just blow over, and we see it over and over. Established businesses with contracts, with government contracts, and it goes down, right? Businesses that access funding, we run programs for SEDFA that for companies that access funding, and they got 2 million rand funding, and in a year and a half, 2 years they're gone because they weren't ready for it yet. They didn't understand the game. They didn't understand, right, the rules of that game and what they needed to do to expand. And that is what the Myhouse framework does. It allows you to understand and track that growth over time. Okay. So these are the three questions which I want you to ask yourself, right? Because I mean, this is a masterclass. We're here to identify where you're at. It's questions which I want you to ask yourself. Where are you now in your business? You may be operating for 1 or 2 or 3 years or whatever the case may be. Where are you now within your business? Where is it that you want to be? Do you have a picture of that? It's because what we do is, right, as an organization, as consultants, we want to help you grow, but not everyone is ready for it. Not everyone is ready. I met one of a company now that they operated for more than 10 years. We were there to help him accelerate his business, but it's like, I don't really, I'm at that point where I just want to solidify what we have. I want to improve what I have, and I don't really want to grow very, very quickly. So I'm not there yet. So what is it that you want? Do you want to scale your business? Or do you understand your industry, where it is that you're going to be playing, and have you thought around how you plan to get there? Because we're going to advise, but we want to know that you have really thought about these things, right, within your business. And once you're able to actually answer these things, now we're able to actually go and work with you, right? Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to run another poll now, right? We're going to run another poll. And what the reason for the poll, we want to understand what type of support that you need from us, right? And that is very important, right? Because are you actually ready to scale? So if you feel, you know what, I know my business very well. I just need to tweak it here and there. I need to perfect this, right? But I don't want any major change. I don't want to change direction. I don't want to change strategy right now. We're not ready for that. I just want to perfect it. Great. Then you're going to select that option, which is just perfecting, right? But no major change. We're going to run the poll shortly, right? Or maybe I understand my business, but I do identify that I don't have the right processes in, I don't maybe have the right structures. I don't have enough income streams within my organization, and I need some improvement in these areas, which the model would identify. But just tell me what it is that I need. Give me a plan, and when I have it, I can take it and I can run with it myself. Right. That is planning. So tell me what it is that I need to do. I have the staff, I have the understanding, I know my business, I can do it by myself. Just tell me where to go and what I need to do, and I can do it. Okay. So that is planning. You're going to select that option. Or the last option is I need a lot of help. I need a lot more help. I need hands-on help. So if we advise and say, great, you haven't registered with City of Cape Town, you haven't registered here, you don't understand the 5 tiers, how to enter a corporate supply chain and access your first 10 million rand contract. I don't know how to do that. Right. And if you tell me how to do it, I will not have capacity, will not have the staff to be able to do it. So I need more hands-on help, right? I need you to come into my business, help me physically do this. Great. There you are registered. There you are registered. Here's a corporate. I'm going to show you how to go in and enter through the 5-tier approach into a corporate and access your 10 million rand contract. That's actually a nice headline for our next webinar, right? How to enter corporate supply chain and access your first 10 million rand contract. We're going to charge for that one, however. Okay. So if you feel no, I need more hands-on assistance, I don't have capacity, then you're going to pick the last one. We're going to run that very, very quickly, right? Or the last one, oh, I don't need assistance. I don't need anything. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not ready yet for scaling or anything. I don't need anything. So that is the poll that we're going to run right now. Okay, let's just see if there's any more questions. There's no immediate questions. Great, great, great. We're going to run the poll very quickly. Right. So we're going to run the poll. Remember, the poll is where you are right now, where you are right now. What do you need? What is the type of support that you need? Right. Just the light touch, right? I don't want to change. I just want to perfect what I'm doing, right? All you need, just a plan, and I can do it myself. Or I need hands-on. I need hands-on help. Okay. Or I don't need help. Okay. Let's see. I hope we're clear. You need the plan and you do it, or I need hands-on. I don't have capacity to do it. So I see the majority is great. Give me a plan. Give me the plan. And I can do it. I have capacity to do it. Just give me the direction. Great. Some needs a little bit more, but I see the majority by far. The majority by far needs you just need a plan. Right. Now that we can help with, that. Great. I'll give you another few seconds. For those that are still thinking. Remember what we're saying. I give you a plan. You do it yourself, right? Or you need hands-on, even with a plan. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Or I don't really want to change. I just want to perfect what I'm doing. I don't want to take any risks, and I'm fine. Okay. So wonderful. We're done. I'm ending the poll. Thank you very much. Guys, for your feedback. Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay. So the majority of you with a clear plan, right? We will be able to assist you with that. So let's see where we are now and what we can do for you. So firstly, our foundation, right? Our Greenhouse Foundation has 10 seats. We only have 10 sessions, one-on-one sessions, which we will have with you. It's for companies that are ready to scale. You must have staff. You must be established and operating for at least 2 years, because it takes time to figure out your business. It takes time to figure out your industry. And remember what our core, even though we are here representing by Greenhouse, because we are Greenhouse Business Development, we are consultants, right? We charge. Our foundation, however, as we'll fund that first 10 sessions for 10 businesses that are here today that is ready to scale. We fund that first session. What do we do in that first session? We unpack your business, and we unpack the Myhouse framework so that you understand it, that you're able to give us information regarding your business, where you're at. Once we have that information, we're then going to have a general coaching session, another coaching one-on-one session, where we're then going to advise and give you that plan to say, fine, here you are. Here's a plan of and work effectively that needs to happen within your organization, that you can now go. And we will obviously have, if you need to have 1 or 2 sessions after that, we're happy to do that. But remember, we're looking for businesses that are ready to scale. And why is that? Because remember what our foundation does: job creation. Job creation. That's our core function of our Greenhouse Foundation. We want to create jobs. So we not necessarily, yes, it's great to increase your profits and make sure you have more money, but we want to grow your business so that you can create jobs, right? Which is important, which is the most important thing for us, because I mean, we have over 10 million unemployed youth in our country right now, which is quite scary. So we want to help your business grow, and we want you to create jobs. Right. So that is what we discuss in that free session. The next session, there is a cost to it. Yes, but our foundation is also going to fund 50% of that program. Why? Because we want to keep the cost low for you. Right. We want to keep it low because we understand the support that you need. In that first session, we're identifying, yes, you are a business that is ready to scale, and we're going to schedule in a general coaching session. We give you your plan, right? If we give you your plan and you decide, you know what, you try for a month or two and you're really struggling to implement this and you need additional assistance, no problem, right? We can then schedule an intensive growth workshop that will go through and help you implement it with your team and your staff, right? Whatever that may be. It could be financial management system, it could be an operational system, could be a marketing strategy for your business, whatever the needs is, which we would have already identified at that point. You can then decide. However, there's a cost to that. You're going to pay for that, because if you look at a consultant with 20 years experience and PhDs and MBAs, they're going to charge you, right? But the cost is really irrelevant. Right. People think of it, okay, great, consultant's going to come in, but if they're physically helping you in your organization to fix a problem that's gonna double your income. You're doing 1 mil, okay, with this assistance, you're going to doing 10 mil. Does it really matter what it costs? It's irrelevant. So they're going to charge you, right? They're going to, unfortunately, they're very expensive, right? But what we're saying is, if that is needed, we're going to give you a quote for that. But our general coaching session, we're going to give you a plan, and you can run with it, and we can schedule as many coaching sessions as you need to be able to assist you. So I hope I'm very clear. And what do we need? What do you need to do? You need to WhatsApp that number. Right. So that's my WhatsApp number, 0835 979 687. Right. If you message me and you say, yes, I'm ready to scale, we'll take 10 of the businesses. And we will schedule first your free one-on-one session, which will identify where you are, give you time. There's no rush to say this needs to be done. We understand you're on different levels of your business. The more complex, the more established your business is. Remember, any level, whether we work with companies on 1 million up to 100 million, right? So it doesn't really matter wherever you are. We're gonna assess where your business is, and then we're gonna give you a strategy that you can follow moving forward. So please WhatsApp me on that number if you need any assistance, and if you would like to schedule your one-on-one session. It's done on Zoom. We record the sessions as well. on Zoom, and one if you're in Cape Town. We're happy to meet face to face as well, at your place of work, or we could meet online. So we are quite flexible with regard to that. So I think we've covered everything. Let me just have a quick look to see if there is any questions. There, good morning. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Um, excellent, excellent, great. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to open up questions to the floor. Um, Thank you very much for those of you that don't have any questions. Thank you for joining us. Remember, my name is Khalid Smith, Greenhouse Foundation, and Greenhouse Business Development. Thank you very much for joining us. For those